Good morning, guys. In today's video, you're gonna watch me make chicken tinola for lunch. Let's go. Here's the basic ingredients we're gonna need for our dish today, and you can find this at your local Asian supermarket. So we have some chili leaves, some ginger, you're gonna need a few cloves of garlic, half an onion, 2 sayotes or green papaya, and don't forget the chicken, of course. For this recipe, I used 2 thumbs of ginger, so I just started off by peeling my ginger with my knife, and you just start slicing it just like this, and that's pretty much it for the ginger, yeah. Moving on to the garlic, I just took a few cloves off of the bulb, I smashed it, peeled off the skin, and sliced it. Moving on to the sayote, the first thing I do is chop off the end and rub it on itself. I'm not really sure what this does, but I've seen my mom do this, and then what she does is she rubs it all over the knife. I think it has something to do with preventing the sap from getting all over your hands. But anyway, you cut them in half and then you peel them until all of them are peeled. The next thing I do is just chop them into big chunks because we like them to be big pieces when we eat them. And you just do it to all of them until they all look like this. Next, I just take half an onion, I chop off the ends, peel off the skin, and dice it. Then I took a pan, put the heat on high, put a generous amount of oil on the pan, and then waited for it to get hot. And then the first thing I put in is the onion, and I sauteed it until it was nice and translucent. And once it was nice and translucent, I put the garlic in the pan, sauteed it a little bit, then added the ginger. After about 3 minutes, I start putting the chicken onto the pan. And yes, we are going to saute the chicken with the ginger, garlic, and onion so that we can get all the flavors coming together. After about a minute and a half, I flip the chicken over so we can get some color on the other side of the chicken as well. I had a pot with water started on the next stove over so that it would be boiling by the time I was done sauteing all of my ingredients. So after about a minute, I started putting the chicken into the boiling water along with the garlic, onion, and ginger and everything else that was in the pan. My pot looked like this. I just let it come to a boil, and then you put a lid over it and let it simmer for about, I want to say, 20 minutes. Halfway through simmering, I took off the lid and I saw that the fat was kind of at the top, floating at the top. So what I did was, since you don't want to eat that, I took my ladle and a bowl and I just started skimming off the fat. After skimming off the fat, this is what your pot is going to look like. It looks much cleaner. And so yeah, that's all of the fat that I skimmed off. After simmering for 20 minutes, I started putting my sayote into the pot so that it has time to soften. And You just let it cook until it's as tender as you like. We like ours a little bit more, not too soft, so I don't leave it on there for too long, but it should look like this. And then you just let it come to a boil again, and you just cover it for about 10 minutes, maybe. After 10 minutes, I took the chili leaves that we trimmed and rinsed and put it into my pot. We like our soup a little bit more spicy, so I took one serrano chili and I used a pair of scissors to kind of just cut it into a few pieces and just dump it into the soup. I added some more water because I wanted it to have more soup and it was a little too low for my liking. At this point, I add my seasoning and I use only two things. So I use ground white pepper and I also use fish sauce. Fish sauce is really what brings it all together. So what I do is I start with 1 ladle of fish sauce and you just want to stir it into the soup and then give it a little taste before you add any more. After stirring in that first ladle of fish sauce, I gave it a little taste, and let me just tell you, it was so bland. It was so bland that I added another ladle of fish sauce. My palate's a little different from my mom's, so I asked her to give it a taste to see if it was approved. And after about 40 minutes on the stove, we are done. On a final note, I just wanted to show you guys this steak that I cooked for lunch that same day. And oh my gosh, that steak was so good.